What up? Big Herc916. Positivity, motivation. Keep you guys laced up. Yeah, I got my hood on. It's kind of cold back here in the backyard, man, but I like being outside, the fresh air. It energizes me. This Arizona vibe, man, is just such a great vibe. And man, I'm loving it, man. It's a peace of mind when I'm back here. And I'm just taking in nature, listening to the doves out here chat with each other. But it's funny, man, how you hear certain things in the media and you got, all these people who want to believe that, they truly want change and justice and all this bullshit, And what I'm talking about really is, prison reform, and recidivism. And I typically don't talk about jail stuff over here, prison stuff, but I've actually spoke to a couple colleges this week, Washington State University and American University, some classes at those particular universities. If you want me to holler at you, to your university class or to your rehab clinic, holler at me, BigHerc916.com, and I'll holler back and lace you up on some real game. But some of the kids were asking questions in regard to rehabilitation and recidivism, and how do you stop it, and what do you think about prison reform? Well, to be honest with you, man, prison reform gets votes. When you say that, people think, oh my God, little June's gonna get out early, or I could bring home Wedo, or whoever the case, and if I vote for this person, they're gonna reform the prison system. That's a goddamn joke, man. These people do not want June or Wedo sitting next to them at Mastro's or Roof Chris, driving the same car as they're driving, balling next to them in the same house. They don't want that. They don't want even a nigga like me, shopping at the same places they shop at, because they fear that. They fear that somebody like ourselves, brown, black, even poor white, have made it through the gauntlet to now be at the table. And what I mean by at the table is enjoying the same luxuries as these people who set up these damn gauntlets. See, they set the gauntlets up. Yeah, you might have committed a crime, but there were things that were set up in that gauntlet to make it attractive for you to participate in whatever it is you did, to go to prison and to lead to all the ignorant ass choices. It is by design, man. And realistically, if they reformed the prisons and they had less people going to prison, people getting out of prison educated, guys who were maybe previously gangsters, enforcers, killers, drug dealers, now they're businessmen, property, they're buying property, they're doing all these different things. Don't you think that's terrifying for these people, man? That they're not going back? And what about all the people who work in the prison system who now are getting laid off because there's less need for guards? See, a camp has one guard for 100 inmates. Now imagine if there were 1,000 inmates, they only needed 10 guards because everybody was working in unity, and there was no problem with drugs or violence or what have you. Now, give or take, you're going to have a lot of people, especially in the state, man, who are just people who, petty theft, purse snatching, robbery, murder. There's a lot of people who, and not to pass judgment, but are people who have a certain disposition who maybe are more likely to not participate as far as in a general environment that's providing hospitality, hospitable actions, things that aren't violent. And so you would separate those people. You'd put the people who would be more inclined or who chose to involve themselves in the more violent gang activity, you put them in one prison. But the people who were trying to learn You gave them an opportunity, and you didn't use that felon against them, that felony, so they can get out and get a job. The guys who are, fighting on a fire, they can become firemen. These guys now, because they've been to prison, they're some of the hardest working firemen on the ground. They're going to make sure they get the job done. And you got guys now who could, who study the stock market, could be, possibly involved in creating their own, stock trading teams or hedge funds or consulting because of all the hours they spent studying the market, or guys who have studied real estate now being involved in, as brokers and things of that nature because of just their dedication. Because if they dedicate themselves to the streets, they could dedicate themselves to something legit just as much with the same effort. So these guys aren't just guys who are doing the jobs that are the despicable jobs that nobody wants to do. They're actually elevated, and a lot of people in the system really don't agree with that. They really don't favor that. And I know, because I had a vision board on my wall, and I seen every time that, the guard would go into my cell at the time I was locked up and look, it's actually their cell. Excuse me. It wasn't my cell. It was their cell. I was just passing through, and they would look at the wall and they would see that vision board. They would come out and they would look around and they would think like, how does this inmate think he's going to get out and have a yacht, Ferrari, Porsche, house with a pool, blah, blah, blah. How does he think he's going to do that? Because in their mind, they pretty much maxed out. That's a retirement job for them. They're going to work there 20 years and retire, get benefits, and that's it. So for myself, I never thought like that. I never thought about going to prison. I'm going to get out and go, bag groceries at Walmart, or go, work on a construction site, or, do whatever, manual labor they expect us to do, because that's all they expect us to be able to do. I was going to use my mind, build this media company, fresh out, Big Herc916, get into talking with kids and talking to colleges and doing all these things. That's beyond what they could ever imagine. So everything I've accomplished up to this point is not what's to be expected. So few and far between will you see individuals who aren't using prison coming out here. I'm so-and-so. I represent this. Man, you represent a city. You own nothing. The city doesn't give a damn about you. If you get shot tomorrow or you die, they're not going to put up a street behind your name. You represent this block, and there's nothing on the block that you own. It'd be different if you owned the whole block and people were renting from you. You were a goddamn landlord, but you're representing, and you got all this stuff on you, and you're promoting this ignorance to these young people, thinking that if they do what you did, they're going to be somebody. You are somebody. Man, I don't promote that. So my narrative is totally, it's mind-boggling because it doesn't fit the paradigm. But I say that to say that when you talk about recidivism and you talk about prison reform, the first step is not so much the physical, making sure you get in there and don't nobody try to run up on you or take your booty or something. No, the main thing is your mind, man. Not letting these people capture your mind. Once you buy into the system, once you buy into the program, you're pretty much done. You're institutionalized. That's where the recidivism comes into play, because that becomes somebody's norm. That's where people think that going back to prison is cool, that, they've been there before. You don't have any qualms about it. It's like, it's like a second home. Those people are institutionalized. And that's why you had a recidivism. And as far as the reform part, you're not going to have the reform at the level I'm talking about, where you're going to have all these educated people getting out, possibly making, low six-figure jobs for the main part, because don't nobody who felt like these guys committed a crime and should be punished want anybody to get out and be more successful than them. I've seen it where a lot of people I interviewed are making way more money than people who have been out here who never had to do any time, and they don't like it. They can say, "Oh man, I think a person deserves a second chance, but just don't make more money than me." And that's a sad truth, man. These people want reform, but within reason. So prison reform, recidivism, man, it's all a goddamn joke, man. It's all a goddamn joke, man. It's a setup. And like a lot of dudes don't realize, it's the mental, it's the program. And like I said, as far as the reform, Oh man, believe me, I could break down some shit, and you could have guys getting out of prison. I don't give a damn if it's your gangbanger or your whoever guy, and they could be productive, man. They could get out here and make some shit happen. Now, there's certain people I just can't work with, and you already know who those people are. But there are some people that I feel that if given opportunity, these guys are super smart. They have the potential, but they're just being influenced, and they feel like there's a lot of peer pressure, and they don't know how to break away from that. But if you could say, hey, man, in this program, you can, accelerate it. You can get out early. You could actually do some good things. Teach some child parenting classes. Maybe do some psychology. Find out about some of the upbringings of some of these people, so you could tap into why they behave the way they behave. And you teach a person how to be human again rather than barbaric. You could have prison reform, and I know how to do it. Holler at me, man. Big Herc916.
Hello, I'm Big Herc916. Contact me for life coaching and motivational speaking.
Welcome to Vault TV. If you're fed up with paying cable companies and streaming apps too much money every month for limited content, then Vault TV is the solution you've been waiting for. Vault TV uses our innovative software to connect you with up to 17,000 live TV channels from over 50 countries worldwide. Watch up to 100,000 movies on demand, up to 5,000 TV shows with over 120,000 episodes, live sports, news, and so much more. Starting as low as $12.99 per month and no need for a cable guy to come to your home, it's never been a better time to make the switch to Vault TV. Save money and have the full freedom to control your home entertainment your way. Visit us at vaulttv.com and start saving money today.
Hey. I got that work. Hey. See? Well, y'all in quarantine, I got that work. Split the coronavirus wig, man. Hey. Go to the link in the description and get your limited edition coronavirus wig splitter shirts. Big Herc916 getting down fresh out.